Oh, I'm sorry. Hello, caller.
Hi, this is Bill.
Oh, yes.
Hi, Bill.
One and only Bill Gay.
I'll be brief because you have a jam-packed show. I know you have some deep stuff to get into. I'm in mourning today for a number of things, and one of them is the Chicago Tribune. A hedge fund just completed its buying of it. Now, that paper was established in 1847. Now, till 72, when Colonel McCormick died, it was a really right-wing paper. I mean, they backed Barry Goldwater for president and everything back in 64. But then it became a really good paper for an establishment paper. I got interested in journalism during the Watergate thing. That's when I became editor of my college paper. And that was inspiration to me. And now with this hedge fund, what they're going to do is do the same thing that the hedge fund did with the Times and the Post-Tribune. They're going to gut it, get rid of the reporters, and just put in occasional stringer news. And we need investigation. You know what you're talking about? We're talking about all the different police misconduct you guys are pointing out. Thing is, the more sources there are for these investigations, the more people can see what's going on. And when Chicago Tribune gets gutted because this hedge fund is just a bunch of rich guys put money together, disassembling papers like they did the Baltimore Sun a couple of years ago. What happens is all journalism goes to pot. And then what you basically have is a bunch of high-priced advertisements and very little of value to the community. So I'm in mourning over what happened with the Chicago Tribune. And unfortunately, knowing what the hedge fund, the same one did to the Baltimore Sun, I have very little hope that the Chicago Tribune will continue to be a pretty decent establishment-type newspaper.
Yeah, we talked about that a few months ago, actually, Bill. The Chicago Tribune is owned by... I forgot. I believe it is a New York hedge fund, but it's been that for a while. That's why I usually go with the NWI Times. The NWI Times is owned by the Times Company of Munster,
right?
But the Tribune is owned by the Tribune Company is owned by. I'm looking for the hedge fund, so we know exactly who owns it. Now, Alden Capital. Alden,
right?
Yes.
Yeah, I heard about
that. They dismantle things.
Yes.
That's what they do and sell them off. Tribune controls a lot of good real estate. Yeah. That's why they got it. They don't care less about people in journalism and informing people or anything. What they care about is property values, and the Tribune does control some very expensive property in Chicago, and that's really in this, my opinion, that's why they bought it. Now, the second thing is I'm just going to be on two days next week. I'll be on my birthday, May 27th, between 10 and 12. And, of course, I'm always on Monday. That's my birthday, by the way, May 27th. So I'll do a birthday show. And then June 1st, the station won't be broadcasting. You know, that's the Monday after next because of Memorial Day. Then I get my surgery on Tuesday. So I may be off the air for a couple of weeks. I'm not sure yet. So anyway, I wish you well on your show. And I hope my surgery goes really well so I can be back in action again. But, you know, I know you got a lot to say about Malcolm X. And I think that we need to first of all, probably the best thing to do is reread his autobiography.
Yes.
That gives you everything to work with. When Alex Haley assisted him in writing that autobiography, Malcolm X has spelled out everything clear about his metamorphosis. I mean, that's a very spectacular story, by the way. His whole existence was a crapshoot because, like he said, when he was younger, he got caught up in the street life. And he could have very well been dead, like a lot of young fellas were. He escaped it, spent that time in prison, went through an epiphany, and then went through another certain amount of change of mind when he went to toward the Middle East and came up with the African American Advancement Society. And tragically, he was, I think, 35 when he was murdered. Martin Luther King never saw their 40th birthday. So, you know, they say the good die young. I mean, that can be true so often. So, anyway, I'm going to listen with interest, as I always do, and wish you well on your presentations. And you're informative, and I know a lot of my friends listen to it. And I also have some contacts in southwestern Michigan and Porter County. You got some listeners there too, and you got a couple in Chicago. I know of where our signal reaches, and we got some presence on Facebook.
Yes,
so it's good your show's expanding multi-state wide. That's a good thing.
Yes.
You know, I mean, it really is. You're hitting 3 states now. That's a good thing. I mean, you're talking a potential audience of 12 million people. Right. That's a good thing.
Are you trying to make us nervous, Bill?
No, I'm trying to tell you have an impact. You should actually, with all the research you should do, you should take some pride because you have good poise and pride in your delivery, and I know you're thorough in your research. This is quality broadcasting at its best, and that's something we sorely miss. I'll put some of the shows we do on WLTH, and maybe I'll include myself. I'll flatter myself a little bit. We'll compete against any market in the country. Chicago, LA, New York, because I listed some of the stuff coming out of there, and quite frankly, it's more or like blather. It's really corporate stuff, and you really hit the nail on the head. You take all angles into consideration. And I hope our young people are listening because you're the future and they're the future. And I want them at least take that first step of voting. You know, I hope the youngsters start registering to vote right now. It's not the end of the road. It's just the beginning of a very long road of involvement. Not, you know, you start from voting to writing letters, to being a presence on talk shows, then to demonstrate. You know, it's a metamorphosis. You go through the whole thing. But that's how you get the generations involved. You got to start somewhere.
Right,
ABC, you know, I mean, right now our schools are doing a horrible time. First of all, you shouldn't get a diploma unless you're registered to vote. No reason you shouldn't be registered to vote. At least you got the first step in that long journey done. What are they actually teaching in these schools, though? I mean, you know, are we civically aware of, you know, since about 1960, they've been rewriting history correctly. You know, when I went to school, guys, remember one thing, I went with tainted history. We had to go and sift through stuff when I was in high school to start to get a true perspective of American and world history. I had to do a lot of remedial stuff because the stuff in our textbook 60 years ago was extremely narrow-minded and prejudicial. So the historians really had their work cut off and cut out for them the last 51 years, trying to get things straight about how really things happened.
Right.
Thank
you for your call, Bill. We're definitely going to be praying for you when you go under the knife. You know, you are a valued member of the WLTH community and just of this area in general. You know, so just know that we are rooting for you, all praying for you. Thank you for your call, brother.
And just pray that you don't put the knife at my throat. The knee needs the operation, not my throat. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Continue the excellent work. Bye-bye.
All right, now, thank you. The great Bill K, folks. Now, before we